APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagee sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity, February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
I used to smoke. I thought of cigarettes as my best friend.
They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease.
Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
You're going to go out of here at
the Big 8 tournament champion, middle school coaching legend and youth basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, on air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by Nebco. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is. Welcome in Tuesday edition of the show. Glad you're here. Glad you're along for the ride. I'm Austin Norman here at 1040 O Street. My partner, boots on the ground. Safe travel day, I hope. East Drake. How you doing, partner?
It was looking real shaky for a minute. Got to the airport, Austin, man, and when I tell you, it was a little bit thicker than normal. It was like normally you kind of get in, I had priority, so normally you get in, but I got there in enough time. Found out that the flight was delayed until almost 2:30.
Oof.
And so I was like, wait a minute. So I started, just doing what I do. No panic. Just take your time. We're going to talk about panic and no panic in a few minutes. We get to the sports of last night. But didn't panic. Got me a seat. Ended up having to go through LaGuardia as opposed to, so it saved me about 4 hours and having to leave the airport and come back. But other than that, man, it wasn't a problem. Layovers just over an hour, so it was cool. Didn't have that long, those 2, 3 hour, 4 hour layout. Yeah, didn't have that, so that was cool.
We like it. Well, glad you're here. Thanks for making the effort to be on the show despite your travel plans. It's a big day.
Negative 20 today for y'all?
I saw negative 12 at my house. It was the lowest overnight, but we're all the way up to 18 degrees here, so that's a nice 30-degree swing.
Oh yeah. Man, I didn't mean to wake you up this morning, but I said I gotta keep my boy. That's what partners do. You keep your boy abreast on what's happening in news, sports, and in life. So I had to make sure I checked in with my boy and let him know what the dealio was with Stricky. But look, it all worked out. I'm right here. I'm on the block.
That you are, and we are on the block thanks to the great people over at Nebco. They're hiring for all positions for constructors with immediate job openings for mechanics, laborers, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. You can join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Laborers start at $23 and up based on experience. You can visit nebcoinc.com or constructorslincoln.com to learn more. 402-464-5685. If you have any thoughts on yesterday's national championship game, that's what we're diving into first right here. A 34-23 win, Stricky, for Ohio State. The Big Ten brings it home. Back-to-back years, the champion has come from the Big Ten. It was Michigan last year. It's Ohio State this year. Your takeaways from last night's national championship game?
I think what I had an expectation of, Austin, is the way that it started. The way that it started, long, methodical drive. It was over 10 plays.
18
to
plays.
Get yeah, right. Long, methodical, took up a lot of time. I mean, by the time I think if you're Notre Dame, that's what you wanted to do. By the time they got the ball, it was 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Like the first quarter was over just like that. But shout out to Ohio State. They rebounded. They got on track. They didn't get stopped on a drive, had to punt or do anything dang near to the fourth quarter. And then they get a 50-yard punt out of that, 51 yards out of that. So it was very interesting, but it played out the way I think that it was going to play out. One, I figured if obviously smaller, very athletic front, if they couldn't handle the run game, it was going to be trouble for them. Ohio State jumps out, gets a really good lead. And there's some few key plays. I'm not going to go there because I want you to, give your thoughts on it as well. And then we'll get into some of the details of things that I think could have cost them a little bit. But I'll say in whole, Quinshon Judkins, shout out to him, coming over from Ole Miss, leading the team over 100 yards rushing, and, just big plays from all of the receivers when they needed it. And then just to look on the other side, not detailed, but just big plays. If it wasn't for Jaden Greathouse, it would have been way more uglier than it was. Now, it's not that even Greathouse was getting great separation. He was just making great plays. He didn't seem to have great separation in all of those situations, but he just made great plays. The running game was null and void for Notre Dame. I think in the overall scheme of things, I think that hurt them because for a good portion of that game without Greathouse, they weren't able to get anything going.
They really weren't, and that's a testament to Ohio State's defense. And these, Strick, were two defenses that were in the top 5 pretty much all year long. And it makes sense that we saw, the run game limited for Notre Dame because this Ohio State defense has been pretty darn good against the run all year long. They took it to another level last night, right? To slow down Love and Price the way they did for the most part. That was pretty impressive. Riley Leonard certainly had his moments. But
they kind of kept him in the box a little bit and not let him get buck wild. That was the key.
Which it was. I mean, Riley Leonard, if you look at his final stat line, not bad.
No.
He played fine. He wasn't the problem for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Really, it comes down to the defense wasn't good enough at the end of the day. The fact that Notre Dame put up 23 points, not a lot, not enough to get the job done, obviously, but that's kind of where I expected them to be in that lower 20 sort of range. Of course, they miss a field goal, and that was a little bit of a questionable decision by Marcus Freeman. Down 2 possessions at that point in the game, you weren't guaranteed to touch the ball twice more. Yeah, you got to score a touchdown there on 4th and goal from the 9-yard line, but give your guys a chance, right? I didn't like him kicking that field goal to make a 2-score game a 2-score game. But really, Strick, it's the defense, and we talked about this during On the Block. Just too many different weapons for Ohio State throughout the game. I mean, Will Howard balled out. Ohio State really trusted him, put the ball in his hands. He completes his first 12 passes of the game, I think it was. Really only put the ball in danger once. You have Emeka Egbuka make some big plays, and then the fumble that Notre Dame took advantage of. But Carnell Tate, big catches. Quinshon Judkins gets the touchdowns, like you said. But Strick, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Notre Dame didn't have that answer for Jeremiah Smith. His first his touchdown, you can see a couple guys on Notre Dame are pointing at him. Hey, I need help. Someone come over here. My responsibility isn't him. I need someone to take him. Everyone flows the other way. They leave Jeremiah Smith wide open. He walks in for a touchdown. And then late in the game, Strike, this is where I really thought Ohio State was going to give Notre Dame a chance, was Greathouse makes that great one-handed catch. Dude balled out yesterday, like you were saying, for the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. It's a 1-possession game. Ohio State has a good run game, but there in the last 4 minutes, they didn't trust their running backs. They didn't go to Henderson. They didn't go to Judkins. They just went kind of QB sprint left, QB sprint right, QB draw, and you got a first down on it. And then, they're about to do the same thing. They get stuffed on first down, stuffed on second down, and then they get a look, Strick. Cover 1, but no high safety, turns into cover 0. No safety help over the top. They bring pressure, don't get home, and it leaves Jeremiah Smith one-on-one on the outside with a free release. Yeah. Not only did the pressure not get home, but they didn't jam Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
Super simple pitch and catch for 50-plus yards, and the game is pretty much over at that point. I really think at the end of the day, Strick, Will Howard made one good throw, that one good throw. Jeremiah Smith, they made that big catch, and that really bailed out Ohio State's almost entire second half. I mean, credit the Buckeyes for building the lead that they did. And yeah, you want to chew up clock. I didn't love how Ohio State went about it, and they gave Notre Dame every opportunity to make that into a ball game. The Domers just couldn't get that one extra possession to tie it back up.
Yeah, that's, I mean, in a nutshell, that's exactly how it went down. For me, I think, so, you have a couple of questions, so I don't want to answer this question the way that that would take away from the I think a question that you may ask me with regards to Husker football. So I don't want to really answer this in total yet, but I just want to ask you, do you feel the game lived up to expectations? Because to me, it was looking like Notre Dame of old, get in the big game and get ran out the gym or off the court or off the floor, off the field.
It did look like that with the score. I mean, 31-7 is not a pretty sight, but other Notre Dame teams super fold, right? I said it all along, Strick, when we were talking about this game. I didn't love the matchup for Notre Dame. I just didn't. The way they play defense, the weapons that Ohio State has, I wasn't shocked at Ohio State building that lead, but I do think other Notre Dame teams don't fight back. Was it perfectly managed? No, but you could just tell Notre Dame was just missing a little something that Ohio State had and they didn't. And that to me was the explosive passing game, right? Leonard hit a couple nice passes. Greathouse was good. But that's one guy. Tight ends got involved here and there, but Notre Dame didn't feel like it could
no one
rely on
else
the passing game like Ohio State could. And that to me is really the separator at some of these highest levels, Strick, is yes, you can tell me defense wins championships. You had two of the top 5 defenses in the country in this game. You can tell me you got to run the ball and establish the run. I mean, that's what Notre Dame did its first possession. Ohio State, certainly used its 2 running backs in Henderson and Judkins. But to go and raise your ceiling, that takes a really good quarterback and a good stable of wide receivers and passing concepts. And Ohio State's had that for the better part of the last decade. I mean, dating back to their last championship run, yeah, you look at, Ezekiel Elliott being the one that led the way, but they had, was it Devin White or Devin Smith? They had Michael Thomas on that team, couple tight ends in there as well. And so that to me was the separator, was if in the biggest moments you can create explosive plays in the passing game, some would tell you it's a 50-50 ball to Jeremiah Smith. Ohio State's telling you that's an 80-20 or a 90-10 ball from their quarterback to their guy, single coverage with a corner alone on an island like that. Teams that can make those plays are the ones that we see, playing in these big games more often than not at the end of the year recently.
Yeah, and the other part of this that game is you didn't see them use any part of what helped them to get back into the Penn State game, which was, okay, the running game is not working. Fine. All right. But they didn't really even try to use the running backs out of the backfield as they did. Find a matchup, get them on a matchup, formation shifts, anything of that sort. It's like they didn't even, like, to me, it didn't look like they were trying to even do it. Like Ohio State was getting there sometimes with 3, 4.
Yeah.
So in those instances, try to figure out how to get the running backs involved. Now, maybe not in the screen game because maybe there's eyes watching, but with angle routes, out routes, swing routes, anything like that, to try to figure out how to get those running backs to where, okay, we're not running the ball right now. Similar to what Ohio State did early. I think in an early play, they had a bunch formation outright, and the defense just didn't recognize that Judkins was out there. And it was actually part of the run game. They used it, got him. He got him about 7-8 yards or something like that. But they didn't use any of that type of creativity. Even when you look at how creative they were. And so Notre Dame tries to get creative and ends up botching a snap. But whatever they were trying to do, I don't even know, because it hits the tight end and it's a fumble and they get it back. But you saw a couple of instances the creativity of how they were getting the running back stretching the field by these type of motions and movements and direct snaps and all the stuff that they were doing. But the play to Smith, that was so creative because you already had reverse action that had happened earlier. The guy's like trying to get some attention, something here. And he runs up about 4 steps as if he's going on reverse action and then stops and literally runs back. And like you said, the whole team was going to the right. Easy touchdown. That's just great creativity. That's basically cycling through plays, giving guys eye candy, showing them something so that their progression of what things are happening in their minds looks like it's happening, but yet it's a counter. And it was good stuff. I mean, they ran a couple run plays like that counter, a couple big runs that they got. It was all a bunch of eye candy that had flow of defense, creates an angle for the line to get good blocks, and then boom, you got cutback lanes all day. I mean, they just did a good job, man. They did a really good job.
That leads me to this, Strick, as we start looking toward the end of the segment and onto the next.
Shout out to the Big Ten. Big Ten domination. Bump the SEC. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Just a little something right there. Okay. Go ahead.
Stricky with the mic drop moment live during On the Block. If you're Nebraska football, Strick, you're watching, right? You're trying to learn something. What can you learn from the whole college football playoff, from this national championship game? If you're Nebraska football, What are the lessons? What are the takeaways for you as you try to build yourself to that stage?
One is the fight. There's something throughout Nebraska's season last year that there were times we just didn't see. We didn't see that, just that especially against Indiana. It's like there was no fight. It was like just lay down and no diddy. Take that. Yeah, that part. It was a lot of that going on. And it was you saw that outside of the fake punt, the missed field goal, they still almost had a chance to win that game. A couple of other decisions that they make or happen or something transpires, that could have turned that whole game around.
Yeah.
So that part. Also, just how you played against an Ohio State team that's that dominant. And that's something to really take from. You were on the verge of beating them, just a little more oomph, a little more unction. You put the ball into the end zone on a few of those and that told me just how bad the vision was of the running backs, because there was lanes that were open. They just didn't take them. But okay, that's not a major issue. You can learn from that. But the last part I would say, and then I'll get your perspective, is go get you some wide receivers, my boy.
Hey.
Because, listen, Notre Dame didn't have them. Ohio State did, and that was the difference in this game, is that they had more weapons, especially at the wide receiver core. Go get you some wide receivers with some dog in them and see what you got, because you got a quarterback that can get you to rock.
There's not a lot of differences between Will Howard and Riley Leonard. They're very similar quarterbacks, but one guy had, a boatload of weapons. The other guy had just a few. If I'm looking at this for Nebraska, to me, the takeaway is, elite defense can still get you to a national championship, but not just pretty good defense, not just good defense. Those are elite defenses really at all three levels for Notre Dame and Ohio State. Obviously, what Ohio State was able to do with the pass rush certainly swung the game in their favor pretty much throughout the college football playoff. And then, like I said, Strick, it's about the explosive plays on offense, right? Can you get more explosive? We are going to go to break. When we get back, we will dive into Husker football in the transfer portal.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mainly sunny and breezy. Cold this morning, but warming up to around 25 this afternoon. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and low near 21. And tomorrow, chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy with the high near 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity, February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PBA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back during On the Block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. If you want to chime into the show, You can be a part of it. 402-464-5685. That's the number. To the Starter Heyman Jewelers text line, as well as the streams are brought to you by Starter Heyman Jewelers. Drop a comment on stream as well. Before we get to Husker football in the transfer portal, Strick, a couple things here from the text line. First of all, from Big Daddy Travis, he says, my big takeaway is you have to spend $20 million on the roster, which Nebraska will never be able to afford to do. Doesn't seem like Nebraska has the money like people thought. That's fair. That's a part of it, right? In the NIL era, however long it lasts, certainly being able to pay to get talent and to retain talent is a part of it. But I think we can take this conversation a different direction and tie that in as well. What you saw from Ohio State and Notre Dame, what you've seen from Georgia the last few years as well, is these programs that are competing for national championships, and you shoot Michigan last year too, they develop from the high school ranks first, and then they augment with the transfer portal. So I would be curious to see a breakdown of just how much of that $20 million for Ohio State went to players it recruited out of high school and then paid to retain versus how much went to a guy like Quinshon Judkins or Caleb Downs or even Will Howard. Because I still think that what we're seeing throughout college sports is the more of your own guys you can keep and develop that are high level, high caliber, blue chip prospects, that usually works out pretty well for you instead of going year to year and trying to rely on finding the right mercenaries that fit your system, like some other teams that they've had winning records and gotten to bowl games, but aren't necessarily there, truly in the championship mix.
I mean, we're seeing the unique difference of what it's like to not have a chemistry flow on your team with the basketball team, right? It doesn't fit, right? So the difference is we just don't know fully what it's going to look like. We've got kind of a peek at it, but we don't really know what it's fully going to look like, right? We know that I think he wants to have a versatile running back, similar to what Emmett Johnson is and Ramir Johnson was. I think he probably wants to have a little bit he may not be okay. I mean, against not having a bigger back, probably somebody with some versatility if he is going to be a bigger back. Definitely wants to have a good combination of speed, separation, and just playmaking ability on the wide out. You have a couple of those guys, then you're into something. You want to have the line, same thing. Look on the other side. Definitely want to have some Levante David, Terrell Farley type linebackers. I can kind of envision. Definitely some now if he's going to stay 3-3-5, we don't know because we're going to see what the recruiting looks like. What is he going to go to? 3-3-5, 4-4, 4-3, back to that. I mean, what's he going to go? He's going to go with speed, similar to what Notre Dame has. He's going to go to like Georgia power up front. Is he going to go to some versatility to be able to mask and hide? We don't fully know. That's the thing that I think we need to be watching as to how they're going in the trend. But we do get a peek at the cornerback position, though. It looks like they like long, rangy, athletic, and guys that can cover. They're going for depth, so that means you're probably looking at 3-3-5. We just don't know fully what it's gonna look like, but you can kind of get tidbits based on how they're recruiting.
That you can, and I think as we look at the recruiting too, Strick, for Nebraska out of the transfer portal, when we look at that defense specifically, I think Nebraska did a pretty good job of filling a lot of its wants and needs on the defensive side of the ball. I think for me, the biggest one was you get Marquise Watson-Trent, the all-Sun Belt player from Georgia Southern, who had a really good game against Nebraska when the Eagles came up here and knocked him off. That's a conference defensive player of the year that's going to take over in the middle where you only had, one guy you felt pretty good about, and that's Vincent Shaver, who didn't, put a whole lot on tape until the Boston College game when he had more opportunity, played really well, and was a big piece of Nebraska, getting to a 7-6 record by the end of the year. So I think getting a veteran leader in the middle of the defense goes a long way. I think you're always going to take some transfers in the defensive backfield, right? Last year's big get in Bly Hill didn't necessarily work out. It was the flyer they took on Sierra Wright that ended up paying more dividends, and Nebraska's dipped back into the transfer portal for defensive backs as well. But then where I think I'm curious to see exactly what the dividends are.
Oh, you get Deshaun back too. Great news on that. You got Singleton back too. So that's good news for them.
Yes, absolutely. We haven't had a chance to talk about that much. I think that goes a long way for Nebraska. I think Deshaun was fine last year. He was pretty good. Curious to see if there's another level in him, if he can take his game to another level and really play himself into consideration for the NFL draft. I mean, Andrew Marshall at DB from Idaho is a guy that is going to probably play a factor in the return game. He's 6'1", 170 pounds. Like I said, Watson Trent at linebacker. Deshaun McCullough is a guy
that's been horrible. Let's stop right there real quick. Let's stop, Austin.
Where are we stopping?
We need there's a song out by Mr. Cheeks. Pause. And that's his name, Mr. Cheeks. It's called Lights, Camera, Action. We need lights, camera, action in the special teams game. Listen, I'm wore out. I am tired of sitting, watching all of that, catch the ball in the end zone. Listen, I need lights, camera, action. Get back to some the Mornay Pearson-L. Get back to some Stanley Moore. Look, I need action back there. Get back to Baron Miles. I need action. Get back to Tyrone Hughes. I need action. I'm sorry. I just need to get action.
Talk to him, Stricky. I appreciate that. No, I like that. So I think that a guy like Andrew Weber is interesting. But again, Strick, the guys that we've mentioned for the most part aren't guys that are at the Power 5 level, coming from power programs, right? Yes, Nebraska got a few of them. Justin Rhett, the defensive back from Georgia. Nebraska's taken some Georgia guys with a mixed bag of success there. But then, Strick, along with kind of these high floor guys that
we see that's their modus operandi. Operandi, all of it. Because what did somebody just say earlier? They don't have what? 20 mil stacks.
Not 20 mil, yeah.
I mean, Nebraska's gonna have to do it by piecemeal flyers, hit home runs on guys like, you know what? And Dominican Sue was he was a 4-star or 3-star?
He was a 4.
He was a 4?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, like we hit on Tyronn Lue because a lot of people didn't get on Tyronn Lue until it was late. Get on these cats early, and then you know what I'm saying, and then go from there. Like for example, they missed on Xavier Watts.
They did.
He wanted to go to Nebraska, and whoever. They missed on guys, man. Look, they passed over Chucky, one of the better point guards in it. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're gonna take flyers, you better have guys in your system that can evaluate the talent, look at the intangibles, check out the things that he does well that are not necessarily on a piece of paper, his motor, his drive, whatchamacallit was at the quarterback for Notre Dame.
Oh, Leonard. Yeah, it was on a Nebraska visit.
Do you see his heart? See, that's the stuff that you see from Riley Leonard, you can't put on paper. You can't. The run that dang near sealed things for them to get to the championship game, you can't put that on paper. He's not running up there and tentatively, you know what I'm saying? He's running up there trying to get first down, touchdown. But you can't, you have to, that's an innate thing that's in somebody's heart. You got to be able to look in somebody and say, you know what, young man, it's the same thing. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to get off, but I'm seeing something. It's the same thing that shout out, rest in peace to Ron Aker, Dallas Maverick scout. Look down at a young Stricky. He's like, he may not look typical, but there's something in that young man right there. Same thing when Ross Perot Jr. met with my dad when they were talking about re-signing me. It's just something about your son that I like. It's stuff that you wasn't gonna see on paper. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that's if they're gonna go that route, Austin, I'm saying they're gonna have to have people that evaluate talent. I don't know. I think Jay Foreman's got stuff like that. You better have people in your camp that can go and look at somebody and say, there's something different about that. I know he's got measurables, but this one right here. You feel me?
I do. And I think that every program has its hits and its misses. But I think that's part of the frustrating part for Husker football, Strick, is that when they've been presented with a choice, sometimes they've taken the wrong one, or sometimes they haven't done everything right. And yet, despite their hard work, the player chooses to go somewhere else. Some of that might turn around when Nebraska starts winning games. And that's what on YouTube, Justin says. He says, Nebraska can get closer to 20 million people look over that they haven't had the success. It's not that Nebraska doesn't have the money to afford players, as they haven't had the success for the opportunity to get players to look at Nebraska. And I think it's part of it, but I do also think that, Nebraska is, maybe not at Ohio State's level when it comes to financials. In fact, I feel pretty confident saying Nebraska is not at Ohio State's level financially, which is where you have to make the most of what you are able to snag out of the transfer portal when it comes to these players. You have to maximize them, because you're not going to get, home run swings like Caleb Downs very often. I do think Nebraska might have gotten one in Williams Nwaneri, right? That's the guy they were in on in high school. He ends up going to Missouri, staying in state for a year, and then he transfers to Nebraska. You can't, go after those guys, and once they don't commit to you, say, nope, we didn't get you, we're good. Because relationships matter in this transfer portal era, right? Nebraska still has to be able to find these high upside swings, whether it is with a Williams Nwaneri, whether it's with, say, Elijah Pritchett, right, the offensive lineman from Alabama, whether it's with Hardley Gilmore, who comes from Kentucky. Dane Key's going to get a lot more of the headlines because he's been the better player so far. Dane Key helps Nebraska next year, and then that's it. Hardley Gilmore, though, is the guy that you can throw out on the field if he's ready, see what you get from him. But you're really trying to develop him, I think, less for the 25 season, more for 26 and 27 as well. So I think that for Nebraska, what it comes down to in the portal, Strick, is it has to have, like you're saying, those guys that can look at the measurables and find the intangibles as well and piece them together. It's hard. Every program has hits and misses. But Nebraska probably is going to have to do more with quote unquote less, right? Not saying these guys aren't talented football players in their own right, but there's a reason they were at the level they were at for a while. So it's good if Nebraska can find these kind of under the radar guys, but eventually, Strick, you need to have one or two of these under the radar guys where your scouting department is so much further ahead of everyone else that they get in on a kid and they find a way to secure commitment before anyone else does. But then I think the other thing that we saw is that you do need elite level difference makers, plain and simple, right? And just one or two isn't going to be enough to cut it, right? Dylan Raiola is a darn good player and I think is only going to get better. It can't be just him. Williams Nwaneri, we'll see if he's that type of difference maker, but if it is, it can't be just him, right? Ty Robinson was pretty darn good. Why was he so good? Because he had another guy that was, able of playing up to his level, occasionally Nash Hutmaker. Right. It's going to take more than Nebraska has to be where Nebraska's been, which is kind of an obvious statement, right? Nebraska needs to get more talented. And I think you can get more talented by going out and recruiting, higher players and securing their commitment. But to get to that point, Strick, you are going to have to do things, I think, the Matt Rule way at Nebraska, where you can't just splash cash around and say, you're the change, you're the difference. You have to take some chances on these under the radar guys, get the most out of them. And then I think some of these bigger name guys will give Nebraska a look more consistently.
Yeah, and because you want to have guys with charisma. You want to have guys with moxie. You want to have guys with that go-getter mentality. And you can't have guys with that Eddie Curry mentality. If you hit those type of guys, you're missing, because that's what I'm talking about, reading the intangibles. You better have a bunch of Terrell Farley mentality type guys, right? Undersized guys, like I said before, Devontae David, undersized guys that, you know what, they got something and they don't care. Like they willing to get in there and mix it up with anybody. And it's the same thing as a Bud Crawford mentality. Bud Crawford says, I don't care if I go up 3-4 weight classes. Come on, let's get this smoke. That's an intangible. You just can't look at who, because everybody's going to look at what he's doing against other guys and say, oh, no, there's no way he can do that against Canelo. You're already knocking him, but there's something in him that that makes up the difference of whatever it is. And you find those type of guys, then guys will start taking notice. It's the same thing that happened with Indiana. A bunch of guys that no one really knew about. They had chemistry, but they had heart. They had determination. They had belief not only in themselves, but in who they were playing for. And they went out and put themselves in a good position to give themselves an opportunity to try to win a championship. I mean, there's a model there. There's a model there. But it's not just bring guys in and hope that they bond together, or we're just going to train them up. They got to have something that wants to be trained up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Let's finish out this segment on the text line. Again, 402-464-5685. Big Daddy Travis, John, and Cortland. Now, Derek in a car chiming in on the text line. He says, if it's all about money, then how can Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame on their home field? Evaluations are more important. That's the thing. That's why it's an upset, right? That's why we continue to talk about that game, because little old Northern Illinois got big bad Notre Dame. That is the exact point, right? Yes, the players were what won the game, not the money. But again, look at the teams that were in the college football playoff, or at least on the border, right? Ohio State, plenty of money. Notre Dame, plenty of money. Penn State, not hurting. Texas, in a really good spot. And that's just the Final Four, let alone the other ones, right? SMU bankrolled its way into a new conference, right? That's money. Indiana found quite a bit to cobble together that roster the way they did. Clemson, kind of running things in South Carolina right now, right? Is it a huge donor base? No, but it's big enough. The point isn't that money is all you need, right? Because look at Michigan and Ohio State, right? Ohio State, clearly the more talented team on paper. And yet Michigan took their show even on the road and beat it. But I do think that having all this money and being able to pay for better players, what it does, Strick, is it gives you a bigger margin for error. Ohio State wasn't perfect. Yeah. Notre Dame wasn't perfect. Oregon wasn't perfect all year. Georgia wasn't perfect in its title runs. Don't let the little 15-0 tell you a team was perfect. They made mistakes. Other teams made plays against these guys as well. But with the combination of coaching, with the combination of talent that was brought in by money and the good breaks that every team needs, the better talent you're able to pay for, it's not just saying you pay for guys you automatically win games. What it's saying is it gives you a bigger margin for error. You can afford to screw up because you have guys that can change the game with one play instead of needing all these little advantages to add up over the course of 60 minutes. That, I think, is the point.
And getting guys like Sawyer, who's right in your backyard, that's just been next to the program, been around the program, seen its history, knows its legacy. Then their success also. Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Now you got something. Yeah, though that's the way you also are able to build it. But it's those relationships also that's got to be built over time. And I'm telling you, once you miss a couple of them or you kick a couple of them to the curb, it's tough to rebound because you get a label of some sort, that you don't take care of your own.
Right. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, except sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes talent wins out, right? We all want to tell ourselves that, all you have to do is work hard and you'll have success. And that's not necessarily untrue, but sometimes it does pay to be the more talented team. You give yourself, more opportunities, more bites at the apple. And I think to some degree, that's what we saw from Ohio State and from Notre Dame as well. So let's go to break. We'll just do the tiebreaker question for the shootout with Strick, 402-464-5685. We will give some Stricken away to wrap up hour one of On the Block in just a moment.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting book. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagee sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity, February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PBA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
We will just play the tiebreaker question here since Stricky is remote. 402-464-5685. Nick will be in the hot seat on Thursday for the game. We'll see if he wants Rico in or if he kicks Rico out. But before we get to the question, we need to bring Ellie in. She's ready to be part of the show. Ellie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Please pick a number between 1 and 10.
6.
Ellie says 6. All right, text her number 6 with the right answer over, under, or push Stricky's answer to this question. We'll end up with the $30 to our friends at Buffalo Wings and Rings. 2 Lincoln locations, including one at 68th and O that I believe we will be at for the Super Bowl and March Madness. It's been fun the last couple of years. Hope we get back out there for that. All right, Stricky, here's the question. Since 1998, how many players have had at least 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in the national championship game in college football?
Say it again.
It again.
The question.
Again.
Austin.
Okay, I will repeat the question. Since 1998, how many players have had at least 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in college football's national championship game? Since 98, how many players have had 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in the college football national championship game?
7.
Stricky says 7. Over, under, or push on the text line 402-464-5685. I can tell you, Strick, one of them happened last night. Will Howard did it. Think about all the guys that went to Ohio State that didn't win national championships, whether it's Troy Smith, it's Justin Fields, it's CJ Stroud, JT Barrett, guys like that. But Stricky, of all the quarterbacks to do it, Will Howard, right? Kind of wild how college football works like that sometimes.
I know that it's a crazy thing, but even shout out for where he came from, the lessons he learned, the mistakes that he made while he was at Kansas State, even being close and on the verge there of breaking through. Made some mistakes that probably cost the team an opportunity, and he doesn't renege. He tonks out like Stricky did against Cluster and all them boys. You know what I mean?
Again, 402-464-5685. Over, under, or push Strick's answer of 7 players with 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in the same national championship game. Before we give the answer and the chicken away here, Strick, just because Will Howard won a national championship doesn't necessarily mean Kansas State was wrong to let him walk, right? Mm-hmm. They trusted Avery Johnson, who was fine this year. Maybe not everything he was supposed to be, but, it hurts to see your guy that you had on campus for a few years walk out the door, go win a national championship, but kind of like what happened, it happens all across the country. I don't even want to bring up specific examples. Sometimes it's just time for a guy to move on, right? Will Howard was off to a bigger, better program. No shame in that, right? Did he play perfect football all year? No, he didn't. Will Howard was solid, but I also think it was probably for the best for Kansas State as well, right? They could afford to move forward with a younger guy in Avery Johnson, and I think Kansas State is pretty well positioned for the future. And Ohio State got exactly what it wanted out of Will Howard, and that was leading him to a national championship game.
I think you're probably going to see something similar to this that's happening also with you see this happening probably with Texas and Arch, and you're going to see it with Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck's situation is a little bit more shaky. He's got something he likes to look at down there in Miami. So that might be a different reason. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. We do not have anyone with the correct answer yet, which is probably a giveaway that Stricky nailed it. It's 7. Will Howard was the 7th player with 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in the same national championship game. So text line, you get another shot at this question. I'm just going to ask this one here. Scott from Bancroft, too late. Good try to get in on it, though. We'll ask another question here, Stricky. I'll just ask this one. We'll go to break. We'll give the answer when we get back. Who was the first player since 1998 with 250 rushing yards or 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in a national championship game? Since 1998, who is the first player with
to do it
passing yards? Don't answer, Stricky.
You're saying the first player to do it.
To do it, yes. The first player to do it in a single national championship game since 1998. We'll give you the answer. We'll give away the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll get into a little bit more of college football, the final AP top 25, who overachieved, who underachieved, and who maybe met their expectations. And then we'll do the same in men's basketball. 402-464-5685, number to our starter, Heyman Jewelers text line. This is On the Block. I'm Austin. He's Strick. We're brought to you by Nebco. Back with Hour 2 in a sec.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mainly sunny and breezy. Cold this morning, but warming up to around 25 this afternoon. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and low near 21. And tomorrow, chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy with the high near 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Bombshell revelation during break. Ellie says Timothy Chalamet is overrated.
Oh.
Quote, direct quote from Ellie, Timothy Chalamet is not all that.
I never said that. I just said
pretty much what you just said.
No, I said.
Ellie, the people can't see our faces. The people can't see our faces.
Because you got me all flustered. I never said anything about Timothy Chalamet. I just said that the Ohio State quarterback looked like an actor that I knew from something, but I just cannot get it in my head of like where he's from. I think it's SNL. It's from SNL. It's going to come to me. I'm going to figure it out.
Okay. You can do it. Either way, Ellie does think Timothy Chalamet is overrated.
No, I never said that. His name never even came out of my mouth. You just kind of put those words in my mouth.
I just threw out a random name of an actor, and you said, I just don't really think he's as great as everyone else does.
No, but he said that. You just said that. You just said that. Austin, don't be lying. Don't be lying.
See, the cap is on my head because that's what you're doing.
Strick, we need you to sing that song. Why you always
lying?
Why?
You always lying. Oh my God.
Why you always lying? We are not lying. We do have the answer to the trivia question of $30 of Buffalo Wings and Rings to give away. Stricky, do you know who the first player to pass for 250 and rush for 250 in a national championship game was since 98?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say it's one of two people, and the second one's going to be who I think.
Who do you think?
I think it's either Cam Newton. Actually, I think it's either Michael Vick or Cam Newton, and I think it's Cam Newton.
Stricky says Cam. The answer, Michael Vick. It was Michael Vick in Virginia Tech's loss to Florida State in 2000. He was the first one to do it. Go with your gut, Stricky. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Dang it. Is Cam on the list?
The list is, like you said, 7 players long. Michael Vick was the first. Vince Young did it for Texas against USC. You had Tim Tebow do it in 2009. Cam Newton in 2011. Deshaun Watson in 2016 as Clemson gets on the board. And then
Trevor Lawrence.
Will Howard. Joe Burrow. Joey
did
it in the national championship game against Clemson.
I didn't know he got the 50 marker.
He did.
He runs like Tom Brady. I didn't know he had like that.
He's got a little more than Tom Brady. Just a little more juice.
I thought Trevor Lawrence maybe before him, but okay. I like that.
So there you go. Those are the 7 players. 007 conveniently is the one that gets the $30 at Buffalo Wings and Rings. 30 days to pick it up. $30. Again, 2 locations here in Lincoln for Buffalo Wings and Rings. More than 2 locations across the state of Nebraska. Nebco, their operations span the state and supply the construction industry with the materials needed to construct buildings, streets, and highways. They've been in business since 1908. They're a 4th-gen, family-owned and operated business with over 1,200 employees and 26 companies throughout Nebraska. 402-464-5685. Stricky, with the college football season over, I think now's a good time to take a look at the final AP poll. Obviously, you get Ohio State at number 1, Notre Dame at number 2, Oregon at 3, Texas at 4, Penn State at 5, then Georgia, Arizona State, Boise State, Tennessee, Indiana, rounding out the top 10. But when you look at just the season in general, Strick, who's a team or two that stands out to you as an overachiever that maybe weren't picked as high, that had a better season than you thought they were going to coming into the year?
Man, you definitely got to look at Arizona State. There's one. I mean, they were probably picked to be at the bottom rung of the Big 12 early. There's no question you've got to look at SMU finding their way into the ACC and doing what they did there. Then Indiana, of course. There's somebody that was very. It was unusual, and I would say Army, even Army with the record that they had, man. I mean, shout out to the armed forces, man, getting it done, big time for them too. So yeah, man, those are the ones I think that were some unusual suspects that popped in there.
I'm with you. I think all those teams qualify for me, kind of on the upper end of their higher outcomes for me, Strick. I think Notre Dame overachieved. They were number 7 in the preseason poll. I mean, people expected them to be good. I don't think anyone expected them to be national championship contender. Good, right? Playoff team, probably comfortably in the playoff, which is what they ended up being. You know, they were ranked 7th in the preseason. Guess what they were seeded in the tournament? Number 7, right? They pretty much achieved to what people thought they would before the year, at least in terms of qualifying for the playoff. But I don't think people saw Notre Dame making a run to the national championship game until we got to bracket time and people started to talk themselves into that possibility. So credit Notre Dame, I would say, for overachieving. I would say the same for a team like Iowa State. I really would, because I think Iowa State is a program that, despite not winning the Big 12, making it to the Big 12 championship game was certainly within the realm of possibility. But they won 11 games for the first time in school history, right? That's pretty impressive for them. Having not,
well, which one of them, Iowa State or BYU, Austin, would you weigh higher?
So I also would have BYU in the overachiever. I would say they pretty much nailed it, though. I did this kind of in tiers in my head, Stricky. Iowa State, I think, definitely overachieved, right? They have more of a Big 12 pedigree. They've been more competitive in the league, with BYU now being a more recent member to join. I think BYU achieved on the higher end of what I expected, but I wasn't shocked by it necessarily, right? BYU's been a tough program. It's been a solid program. I think Kalani Sitake's a good coach. I would put Colorado kind of in that nailed it, but on the upper end of their outcomes as well, right? I think just getting to bowl eligibility would have been a really good step for the Buffaloes. They went above and beyond that, as did Army that you brought up, as did Navy. And how about this, Strick, in the Big Ten? What about Illinois? The Fighting Illini end the year ranked number 16, and they end up with a 10-3 season. I didn't see that coming from the Illini, right? That's a boring kind of program. You don't really think about a whole lot. They had some juice on the outside. Altmaier took some steps forward. Defense was still solid. So I would say Illinois was the team that for me, again, didn't like super overachieve, but for the outcomes that I think would have been possible for them, I would say that Illinois certainly hit the upper range of that. And now, Strick, I think we can flip it over to the disappointments. When you look at the 2024 college football season, who are some teams that in your mind were a disappointment, finished lower than you thought they were gonna?
I would probably definitely say like LSU would be one that I was surprised about. I thought Kansas State would be to the top of the Big 10, the Big 12. I thought they would be there. Miami, I was surprised for falling. Miami was like a teeter-totter for me. It was kind of like, yeah, but they're capable, and they showed me that. That was really what they were. Kind of like a paper tiger of sorts. But who else fell out early?
We got a couple from the text line here, Stricky. Brad says Florida State. I think that's
no question. Not I would say not that bad. Not that bad. Like maybe 3 losses. Florida State. Maybe. I didn't see them being in, top tier.
Right.
Not as bad as they were. And Florida was definitely that on that list too. I didn't think they would be as bad as they were. But they played good in sometimes though. So it was kind of weird for Florida for me.
See, Florida's an interesting one for me. I thought it was going to be pretty rough for Florida all year. I thought Napier was absolutely gone because of the gauntlet they faced. But Florida actually started playing some better football by the end of the year. They're going to be a pretty trendy pick, I think, in a lot of people's top 25. They're going to be a dark horse playoff contender for multiple outlets. I can just see it now. So I was all ready to say Florida was a disappointment, but they did start playing better by the end of the year. So no, not up to Florida standards, but I think relative to how I thought about them before the year, it's tough for me to put Florida in there. Phil says Utah. Yeah, Utah with the whole Cam Rising.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Pointing.
Yeah.
Daddy Travis said Florida State in there. Oklahoma from Derek in a car. And Jessica says the SEC in general. Do you think the SEC as a whole underperforms this year, Stricky?
It's kind of, for me, it's kind of what it is, right? They beat up on each other and then start pointing fingers like the Spider-Man. Like, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. So out of that group, though, like out of the SEC, yeah, I get it. But I would probably say I'm surprised by Missouri continually just finding consistency in that mid-range area and every now and then pop their head up. And who are the pop-up teams in the SEC for you? For me, the pop-up teams are LSU, Missouri, every now and then Ole Miss. But then Ole Miss, they will pop up and then get whack-a-mole down somehow, some way. It's always a big game, and usually it's in Alabama, it's in Georgia, and then they fall off the map. It's like they can't go 10-1 for some reason, or I mean, not 10-1, but they can't
11-1,
11-1, 12-1. They can't do it. Like they can't do it. I don't know what it is. It's somehow, some way they'll win a big one, but they're gonna trick it off somehow, some way. They just can't get there. So
Ole Miss is a big disappointment for me, right? They were one of the big NIL spenders along with Ohio State.
Yeah.
I didn't see that team missing the playoff. I really didn't. Despite losing Judkins to Ohio State, I really thought Ole Miss had enough, and I thought they had enough games on their schedule that were going to be tough, and they'd win enough of them to find their way into the playoff and be a pain in somebody's butt. They didn't do it, Strick, and they lose the majority of the core of their team. That's why, yes, I mean, Florida State's bad record is a huge disappointment. Oklahoma State with the most returning production in FBS, going, I believe, winless in the Big 12, or maybe one win in the Big 12, falling off a cliff from being on the doorstep of the Big 12 championship to nowhere near bowl eligibility. That's a huge disappointment. But Ole Miss, playing in the SEC with the resources it had and the resources that it used to fall short of the playoff, to me, Ole Miss is even a bigger disappointment than Georgia. Like, certainly a disappointing season for Georgia to not qualify for the Final Four in college football, right? That's where Georgia would tell you it belongs. But Strick, this is a Georgia team that did take a step back in terms of the talent, right? The defense was good, but not elite. Receivers weren't nearly as good. Carson Beck was fine, maybe let down by it a little bit. I would say Georgia was more of a mild underachiever with some of the stuff they got into, and some of it's of their own doing, right? All the off-the-field issues certainly manifested themselves in some ways as well. I think Ole Miss was a more out loud, blaring disappointment than Georgia was. And even I think Ole Miss was more disappointing than Alabama. I didn't have Alabama as a for sure playoff team. I didn't have Alabama winning the SEC in year one under Kalen DeBoer. Yeah, Alabama had some good wins. They had some questionable losses, and maybe part of that you credit Vanderbilt, right, for playing the way they did, getting to bowl eligibility. Vandy probably is on the higher end of their nailed it spectrum for me. But when I look at the SEC, far and away the biggest disappointment for me was Ole Miss, Stricky.
Yeah, and that's definitely, not out of the question as far as that statement. But I've got about three more that I really think, and it's because of where they came from the year before to where they are. And I still thought they had a really good team. I thought the quarterback was going to be solid for them. I was surprised at how far they dropped, and that was Arizona. Like, Arizona has one of the best wide receivers in the country, and they were, and a lot of that team came back. And so it was kind of weird to me how they really fell off. That was one for me. Oklahoma State, definitely, to go 0-9 in conference. I just didn't see that coming. But I think that's they're going to be now they got that Boone Pickens money, but I don't know if they got Boone Pickens money like they got, like Oregon's got Phil Knight money. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's to that level. And I just don't know if they're a landing spot. I think they can bounce back. I just don't know for sure how far they go. And then I would say Wisconsin. I'm surprised. Just surprised.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. Those are the three. I didn't have high expectations for Wisconsin, but it was certainly a little worse than I thought the Badgers were going to be this year. Johnny Mack in Lincoln says Kansas had a terrible start. Then they picked it up at the end. Kansas had leads in the fourth quarter of a lot of its early losses. They certainly didn't live up to the promise, but I do think they salvaged quite a bit of their season by the end. Mean Joe Green says USC. I think that's just a Lincoln Riley thing. I think he's just kind of an underachiever right now. He's got a lot to prove, and I'm curious to see what a full year of Maava will do. But Strick, I'm not going to lie. Mean Joe Green's other team that he said was disappointing was Clemson. I find it hard to be disappointed in Clemson, right? The way that the year started with a big loss to Georgia where they look completely outmatched. They still win 10 games. They actually go into the transfer portal this offseason. I think Clemson did pretty much what it expected to, right? It was the ACC conference champion. It represented them in the college football playoff. You could tell they were pretty outmatched by Texas talent-wise, and it was a road game. So, yeah, Clemson as a championship program, no, it didn't win a championship. But given what Clemson has been the last couple of years, I think this was a step in the right direction for Clemson. I think they achieved what they had to this year.
Well, especially when you have a coach that's in Dabo Swinney, who is really bullheaded and didn't want to get involved in the shifts to change. He was the blockbuster of college football, right? And then Netflix, who of the ACC, came in initially and started tapping on his forehead a little bit. But I would say that I think he's figured it out. We've seen him jump into the transfer portal now and figure out some things, and I think once he makes the adjustment, I think they'll be fine. I mean, Death Valley there is a fun place to play. I think, like you said, he rules the south of the ACC. I think right now, as far as being able to tap into that talent, and if his donor base really picks up and is able to get him going there, I think he'll be fine in the ACC. I think he feels comfortable there. I don't think he wants to move. I don't think he wants to jump into the SEC. I think he feels now with what he was able to do, he can make a SpaceX launch without crashing. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
he feel like he the Elon Musk of the Southeast.
Fair. 5153 says Washington underachieved. I don't think so. Washington lost a whole lot. The fact they got back to bowl eligibility, I think, was fine for the Huskies.
First year,
yeah. Some other teams that I think pretty much nailed it for what I thought, at least Strick. Penn State, I think, did what they had to do, making the college football playoff. They won a couple games. Didn't beat a big dog necessarily, but they won their couple games. They took care of business, I would say. Tennessee making the playoff, I think they pretty much had to, but we saw that Tennessee's maybe a little further away. Boise State was my pick to represent the group of five. They took care of business. They did it their way. Tulane was close. Memphis was close. You mentioned Missouri. I think they did it. Minnesota pretty much hit projections. And honestly, I think Michigan did. Maybe didn't look the best, but I think overall, Michigan was pretty much where I expected them to be. But we do get this text as well, Strick. I believe it's from 3994. Yeah, he's saying Nebraska underachieved this year. I'll give you my thoughts on this before we get yours to wrap up the segment. For me, I put Nebraska in the nailed it, but on the low end side, right? Getting back to a bowl game was the baseline, bare minimum expectation, I think, for the majority of the fan base. Guess what Nebraska did? They made a bowl game. But again, Strick, the reason I think it's on the lower end is that it took Nebraska far too long to lock up a bowl game despite having opportunities. Yes, you got back to 6-6, but there were plenty of opportunities on the table. If you look at the way the Illinois loss slipped through Nebraska's hands at home, would have been a really good win against a team that ends up with, a 10-win season. That one was absolutely there for the taking. So was UCLA. So was USC. And so was Ohio State, for that matter. So was Iowa. That's 5 games that Nebraska had the opportunity to win. You're not even asking for all 5 of them, right? If you win all 5 of them, it's a special year. But if Nebraska even gets 2 of those wins and is able to get to 8-4 before the bowl game, shoot, if Nebraska gets 3 and gets to 9-3, that would have been a jump like Colorado took. All of those were out there for the taking. So I don't think it was disappointing that Nebraska didn't do it. I think Nebraska gets a passing grade, but it's not exactly passing with flying colors. Nebraska did what it had to do, nothing more, nothing less.
I agree. I don't have much to add to that because I absolutely agree. I thought that there at worst for me, at worst, I thought Nebraska should have been 8-4. You know what I'm saying? Like 8-4, maybe you lose the ball 8-5. I thought you should have been up there. From where you were, there were games, like you said, that were in grass, and you just needed to find a way to win it, and you did it. And that's the thing that they've got to overcome. They've got to figure that out because that's we saw a boatload of those teams do that. We saw Franklin do that. We even saw
Harbaugh did it for a while.
We saw Franklin. We saw even Ryan Day. We saw Notre Dame's coach
Marcus Freeman.
Mm-hmm. A lot of those guys had huge questions looming over their heads, over their programs. Is it their time? Can they finally break through? Right? And we saw it. We saw them do that. Nebraska, when are you going to do it? When? I mean, that's really what it's coming down to because we've seen these programs finally figure it out, and you're there. You're there. No lack of talent. A play here, and it wasn't the stuff that used to kill you, which was turnover, shank punt, fumble at the wrong time. All of those things for a long time was the thing that really was. It wasn't even really that. Some discipline issues, penalties got you behind. Sometimes behind the sticks. Little things like that. Every now and then, drop play. Someone had a little bit more oomph than you, catching the ball in the end zone and takes it away from you for it. It's stuff like that. Like if I catch the ball in the end zone, there ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do to get that ball from me. I'm like we fighting We fighting on the ground. I might pinch you a couple times in your side. You giving up that rock. And that's the thing that you didn't see, but that you could kind of tell about the team. Not always a play, but it's little things like that. Like, for example, you saw like Fedoni used to early on do wham blocks, and he'd go over there and, you know what I'm saying, kind of halfway just put his body in. But then you saw later on, and you can ask the question why, maybe they won this game. You made the adjustments. You got the right people in place. And you saw Harburg came over there on the wham block and said, woo! I said, okay. Now it looks like y'all got something going. I saw the line get a little more physical. The D-line got mad. Guys were starting to come up and lay some hack. So you start to see a change. We just got to see that breakthrough.
That you do. Some other teams that I would lump in the same category with Nebraska, I would say Miami did what they were expected to do, maybe on the slightly lower end of their outcome, making the college football playoff. Would have been big. I don't think they're nearly as big an underachiever as Ole Miss was, but it was all there for Miami. It slipped through. Louisville in the ACC, all of its losses by touchdown or less, and a couple pretty questionable ones in there as well. I think Iowa, did Iowa things, but I saw a little bit bigger coming for the Hawkeyes this last year. Same with Kansas State. So that's kind of the group in terms of relative to preseason expectations that I have there. Let's go to break. Let's flip it over. 18 of 25 teams in the men's AP poll lost last week. Is it the golden age for parity in college basketball? We'll get into that next year during On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Greens at 402-467-4444 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-4444.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PBA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I still can't believe Ellie thinks Timothy Chalamet is overrated, but another story for another time. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland back with you here during On the Block. Most of the AP poll was overrated this last week, Stricky. Of the 25 teams, 18 of them lost, a combined 22 losses for last week's AP Top 25. I don't know if that's an all-time record, but it sure feels like it is. That's crazy. Does that tell you we're entering a golden age of parity? Or is that a one-off, do you think?
That's what it seems like to me, Austin. It seems like definitely, and not necessarily parity of talent to me. It's parity of the money. The money's able to be spread around. You have a bunch of sensitive cats that jump in the transfer portal. Some of them are not able to make the leaps that they thought that they were going to be able to make. And then also all of a sudden they end up in maybe smaller programs. So some of the talent pool is a little bit thinned out. The COVID stuff is starting to end now. So you're starting to get guys going a little bit at different places. Younger talent is in some instances getting into programs, can't really get a good footing, and they get frustrated and they end up going somewhere else after a year or two, which spreads out the pool a little bit. They develop, some don't, some wash out, and some, go upriver and find their way. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things that's kind of creating this situation.
It's kind of interesting that we talk about coming into some parity in college basketball when it feels like these last 2 years have been dominated by a few teams, right? You think about Purdue and Zach Edey. You think about UConn becoming the first back-to-back champion since Billy Donovan did it at Florida, 15, almost 20 years ago now. There doesn't seem to be, at least on the outside, Strick, that one dominant runaway team that everyone else is chasing, everyone else is catching. You can maybe make the argument that in the ACC, it's Duke, but they've shown some warts, right? Losing to Kentucky and Kansas. Auburn maybe has the best resume in the country, but the entire SEC is pretty loaded from top to bottom. And that, I think, is the healthy sort of parity for college basketball, is that you have a lot of really good teams that are all capable, incredible national championship contenders, instead of everyone catching one team, right? It was really fun back in 2014-15, a decade ago now, when you had that Kentucky team with one of the best recruiting classes of all time challenging that Indiana team's, perfect season. It, of course, falls short in the Final Four against Wisconsin. But think about the show that Kentucky team brought on the road with it every time, the chase to go 40-0, they get to 38 before they fall to Wisconsin. That's fine. You need a team like that from time to time. Last year's UConn that came off the national championship and got even better the next year. You need a team like Purdue that, outside of a loss to Nebraska, really ran through most of the rest of their schedule in the Big Ten. Purdue is a team that had been pretty good under Matt Painter, but really had its coming out party a couple years before that as well and continued to build. Those were the two dominant teams, but I do think that it's much more rare in college basketball to get a team that is as dominant as UConn was last year, like Purdue was in the regular season, compared to the NBA. Yeah, you have your outliers, right? With what the Warriors did a few years back, what the Cavs and Thunder are doing this year. The NBA, usually has a little bit more of this parity, but I think what college basketball is getting right now, Strick, is, especially in the top 25, it's more Western Conference parity than the Eastern Conference, right? Where the East is pretty stratified, where it's Boston and Cleveland, then it's New York and maybe Orlando, and fill in the blanks from there. Where in the West, you can win 45 games and still be out of the playoff in this modern kind of era of the NBA. And I do think that's good for college basketball, because much like college football, college basketball is pretty regional. It depends on this interest really picking up now that college football is over. And I think people that haven't paid much attention to college basketball so far are going to walk into a sport that's in a pretty good spot with all the competition right now.
Yeah, I think so. And it's going to be an interesting March Madness. Now guys have really got to learn this mental part of the game and being able to go on the road and win. And the teams that do that and they do it well are going to have success. But then teams can come on late. Teams can figure it out late and then go on a run in the NCAA tournament. We saw that. We kind of started touches of that through NC State last year and kind of the run that they were able to make. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it keeps it fun.
I agree. Let's go to break here. We will come back. We will wrap up on the block. Then we'll have Takedown Tuesdays followed by the Teammates Timeout. He's Strick. I'm Austin. Ellie's on the board. Talk to you one last time in just a sec.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Early break. There, I was just waiting. And then the lady appeared, and I just tried to make a joke. I said, I thought everything was free today. And she said, if you take anything out of here, we will follow you home. I'm like, I was kidding. I'm not taking anything.
You're on the list, buddy.
Yeah.
You're on the list
I
now.
will follow you home.
I've had it happen a couple times or something.
People follow you.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rental, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 29th is $2 off bacon, $2 off summer sausage, and 20% off on crackers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And back one final time here during On the Block. Stricky had to dip, so it'll be the Austin and Ellie crossover here, getting set up for Takedown Tuesdays and Teammates Time Out. Crossover sponsored by League One Volleyball. Omaha's first home match is January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Ralston. Get your tickets online at lovboma.com. You can see former Huskers Jordan Larson, Justine Wong-Arantes, Maddie Kubik, Lauren Stivrins, and Lexi Rodriguez in action. Ellie is still trying to figure out who Will Howard looks like. So if you have thoughts, let her know.
Any
402-464-5685.
Because I'm telling you right now, my mind's gonna explode. Of how I can't not think about it. He's in my head, but I also feel I told Austin I feel like I'm morphing two people together to make somebody that I think he looks like.
Who do you think he looks like? Like, what are some of the names?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Who are some of the names that come to mind? You're like just trying to throw it out there.
There's no names.
No names at all.
No names at all. But I know what he looks like in my head.
You said what? Colin Jost at one point?
Yeah,
potentially.
But then it makes me worry. Like, was I morphing his face and another face together to make a complete lookalike? But I'm not. I told Austin if you could see my face, he looks like when he smiles, he goes, like a smolder kind of.
A smolder, you say?
A smolder.
A smolder. Yeah, I don't know. But again, 402-464-5685. Help Ellie out. Please do. Let's finish going through some final Ohio State and Notre Dame thoughts. One thing that stood out to me that we hadn't seen in a long time against Ohio State was a long touchdown drive, right? Oregon didn't really piece one of those together. Texas didn't really do that. Kind of felt like what Tennessee did in the first game of the college football playoff against Ohio State. A 16-play drive late in the first half. Tennessee scores. They get the chance to get the ball coming out in the second half. They don't do it. That's kind of what that felt like to me. I knew I felt that kind of drive somewhere, and it was kind of a bit of a statement of what was to come, I guess, for Notre Dame, was just how much they were going to have to put on Riley Leonard's plate. It was a lot. Riley Leonard is a good quarterback. I think he did exactly what he was asked to do for Notre Dame throughout the year. But you could tell that when, the lights got bright and Notre Dame put so much on Riley Leonard, it would have been nice for him to have two or three other playmakers to go to outside of the running backs, right? Ohio State did a pretty good job on those running backs. And that's something that Strick and I were talking about, and Jay and I on Old School a little bit as well, is Texas got some mismatches with their running backs against Ohio State's linebackers in the semifinals. That wasn't necessarily Notre Dame's identity, right? Penn State was kind of forcing the ball to players. Notre Dame didn't do that nearly as much, right? Love and Price weren't exactly bottled up, but they weren't difference makers. They weren't game changers. And that's where Riley Leonard was good, but maybe not quite good enough. Or maybe Notre Dame ended up, being a little too bland, too boring, too vanilla, instead of forcing the ball to their guys and letting them make plays. But even that being said, right, credit Notre Dame for finding a way after going down 31-7, for piecing together a couple touchdown drives, and they had a chance to win the game. They were there. They had Ohio State backed up, 3rd and long, would have punted before the 2-minute timeout for Notre Dame to get the ball back. But then Ohio State goes deep to Jeremiah Smith. Wrong call for Notre Dame at the wrong time. Maybe it was just poorly executed, but leaving Jeremiah Smith in an island one-on-one, probably not going to work out the best for you. Ellie, Cool Hand Luke on our text line says he kind of looks like Matt Rife.
I just looked at that, and I wish you could have seen my face when I saw that. I'm not seeing it.
I don't even know who Matt Rife is.
Yes, I do.
No, I don't even know.
Oh, I thought you were
Who's Matt Rife?
Well, I'll show you Matt Rife after
I
this.
looked him up, but
I'll show you specifically one video of Matt Rife after this.
Should I know who he is?
No. Well, maybe. No. In your realm, no.
In my realm?
Your realm is sports. He's more
I thought you were going to make this an age thing, and I was going to have some thoughts.
No, it's not an age thing. It's not an age thing. It will never be an age thing when it comes to you, because we are only 5 years different.
You're 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
You knew that.
I did know that. I'd forgotten that.
Oh, okay.
That's on me. My bad. My
Okay.
bad. Sorry. My bad.
I'll let it go.
I feel like for being 26, I'm kind of an old guy.
You got an old soul.
I do. Major dad vibes as well, given that I have a kid.
Well,
That's
yeah, I
probably
was
part
going
of
to
it,
say.
so.
Yeah. I'll show you Matt Rife after this.
I mean, I see a picture of him. I just don't know who he is or what he does. Oh, someone's saying raunchy comedy. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll pass. I also have not, I mean, I know Shane Gillis has been on a heater, but I haven't watched a lot of Shane Gillis's stuff.
Who's Shane Gillis? I don't know who that is.
He's the College Game Day picker.
Oh.
The comedian.
Oh, okay.
Who went off on Nick Saban. And we didn't talk about that during On the Block, but credit Shane Gillis for that. But
yeah.
Haven't watched a lot of that. No, I mean, who's that? Like Bert Kreischer, also not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I don't really get into that kind of, like, I'm not into comedians. I'll go to a comedian here or there. I'll like, oh, that's funny. But I'm not like, oh, yeah, this person's really good. Matt Rife is not great.
Text line, let us know who's the best comedian out there. Like, are we missing out by not knowing
tell
who
us
these people
who we
are?
need
Because like Nate,
listen
okay,
to.
I'm familiar with Nate Bargatze. I don't watch a whole lot of his stuff, but I really my in-laws were on Nate Bargatze pretty early on. Then the SNL bump and everything. The George Washington speeches that he does. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, those were so funny.
Just incredible.
Those were so good. Wait, maybe the guy that I'm thinking of is in one of those skits. Hold on, I'll go back and look.
Okay, I was going to look this up. Big B is saying he's kind of a cross between Matthew McConaughey and Jack Nicholson in the eyes for Will Howard.
Guys, there's one specific person he looks like to a T looks like. And I can't figure it out.
Yeah, no, I am obviously helpless on this. Kip says Dave Chappelle. Yeah, I mean, Chappelle's a legend in the game, right? Like, I know who Dave Chappelle is and recognize his greatness in the comedy game. John and Cortland, appreciate your kind words. We're going to let Ellie figure this out. We're going to go to break here. When we get back, it's going to be Takedown Tuesdays. DP is out of town. That's all right. He's entrusted the wrestlers to me. We'll see if we can pilot through an hour of content here on The Ticket. Big thanks to Nebco for their sponsorship of On the Block. They're hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete. You can apply today and start your career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. Nebco and Ready Mix Concrete offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they'll pay for your CDL training. Visit nebcoinc.com or readymixconcrete.com to learn more. Big thanks to Strick for hopping in. He is out on business the rest of the week. It'll be me and Nick moving forward for the next few shows. Tomorrow's going to be fun. Lots of Husker baseball, lots of MLB that Nick and I want to talk. Lots going on in those realms as we're getting close to the start of spring training. Sure, we'll touch on some football and plenty more as well. For Strick, for Ellie, I'm Austin. Thanks to Nebco. Don't go anywhere. Takedown Tuesdays next on The Ticket.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rental, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mainly sunny and breezy. Cold this morning, but warming up to around 25 this afternoon. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and low near 21. And tomorrow, chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy with the high near 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402